7 misconceptions about a transaction coordinator. Let's break it down, all the way down. Okay, before we get started, my name is Lillian Hernandez, your resident care coordinator, and I am the host of this wonderful, amazing show, the #1 real estate show in the world, the whole world. My job is to demystify the business of real estate, as well as provide real estate hacks and tips for anyone either interested in real estate or considering transaction coordination as a career or job. So let's get started. 7 misconceptions about being a transaction coordinator. To be honest, in my almost 2 decades of being a TC, there's probably more, so I'll make sure you hit that subscribe button in case when I do a part 2. But 7 misconceptions about a transaction coordinator that I've experienced or have spoken to other transaction coordinators, read about, heard about, that a lot of realtors or brokers are not aware of. So let's work together and make sure you watch all the way into the end so you get all 7 misconceptions noted, jotted down, and used to communicate to whoever you are working with to let them know, as a transaction coordinator, I do not do these things, or this is my job. This is my scope of work. This is my job description. So let's get into it. Number 1, transaction coordinators do not pay for any inspections. They do not pay for any reports. They do not pay for any HOA documents. Transaction coordinators do not pay for anything throughout the transaction. The seller, buyer, and or realtor involved in the transaction, in my experience, are the only ones that pay for anything upfront and get reimbursed at the close of escrow. So make sure if an agent or a broker or a seller or buyer comes to you as a transaction coordinator and asks, hey, can you pay for this and then I'll pay you back later? Don't do it. Just don't do it. You hear me? Don't do it. Don't use your hard-earned money to pay for something that they are responsible for. That is not your responsibility. So keep that in mind. You heard it here first. Transaction coordinators do not pay for anything on behalf of the realtor, seller, and or buyer. Our job is to coordinate. Yes, we can order these inspections, we can order these reports, we can order these documents, but best believe you will be getting an invoice, a receipt, a bill in your email to pay for those items, or the other option is to get the payment information from the clients and pay for it on behalf of them. And make sure you save receipts and confirmations and email all parties involved, letting them know that this has been done and that their transaction is complete, and to expect their documents in 5 to 7 days, whatever the case may be. But in any case, we do not pay for any documents, point blank, period. It's a no. Number 2, agents don't touch any of the paperwork. First of all, yes, we are transaction coordinators, but we are not the only ones responsible for the paperwork. When it comes down to it, the broker is the one that's going to get in trouble. The realtor is the one that's going to face any controversy or whatnot. And yes, you as a transaction coordinator are liable and responsible for all of the disclosures, the reports throughout the transaction. But it's important that you communicate with your agent and let them know that they too must be diligent about reviewing contracts, reviewing disclosures with their clients. The transaction coordinator's responsibility is not to sit with buyers and sellers and review documents line by line. That is the agent's responsibility. That's also why they get paid the big bucks, right? So if an agent tries to flip this on you and say, hey, I need you to meet with my buyers to review this disclosure packet on Monday, can you do it? Say no. Say no. Your responsibility as a transaction coordinator is to make sure things are signed, and if something does look off, it's your responsibility to bring it to attention, but it's not your job to go and fix directly or to handle directly or to tell buyers or sellers how to fill out certain disclosures. Agents can't do that either. They can only be there to support them and to explain certain terminology, but it's no one's responsibility other than the buyers and sellers to fill out their paperwork completely, make sure reports and documents are ordered in a timely manner. But as a transaction coordinator, it's important that you work with your agent and not against, and vice versa for the agents. It's your responsibility to work with your transaction coordinator, not against, to make sure everything is compliant and in order Remember, this is a team effort, not a solo person's job. Not all the responsibility and liability should be put onto your transaction coordinator. Everything is, like I said, a team effort, and the best way to get your job done at the close of escrow to make sure everyone and everything is in order and compliant. Also, that's a huge red flag if an agent tells you that they don't do any paperwork or they don't do contracts. Huge, huge, huge red flag. Ring the alarm, on to the next, in my opinion. Okay. Number 3, this misconception about being a transaction coordinator is a huge one. I have dealt with this on multiple occasions. Comment below if you can relate to this one. Even if you work an administrative role or have done office type work in the past or currently, that this misconception is that a transaction coordinator's job is easy. And all we do is stare at a computer all day, so we have the time. Do you know how much goes into being a transaction coordinator? #annoying. I will say it does take a special person to want to be a transaction coordinator. Are we at our computers for long periods of time? Yes, absolutely. Is our job easy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No job, especially if you're running your own business as a transaction coordinator, is going to be easy. Of course, all jobs have their parts or phases in time when things are going to be more difficult than other times, but the volume of work a transaction coordinator takes on is very time consuming. So it's important that you work with people that respect your time as well as your job and what you do for them, with them, to get everything done on time and in compliance. So respect transaction coordinators' times, respect everyone's time as we're working. To be honest, not just the TC, like it's a mutual thing. Like we all respect what we do, and it's important that it's shown and it's verbalized. Don't tell someone their job is easy just because you think it looks easy from the outside looking in. Like you don't know what that person's going through or what they're experiencing or the volume of work they're taking on, or even the level that they're at within their career or their business. So just be gracious with other people, be a lot more understanding, and the job will get done. Number 4, this is a big one, that transaction coordinators are mind readers. So today is Tuesday, and I've been working on this transaction for a while. It's a listing, and it's a probate listing. So we got into contract, but everything goes according to the court, probation court. And in all the emails that I've been CC'd in, court wasn't for another couple of weeks. So usually when we wait for court, nothing really happens, no real big updates occur, whatnot. As a transaction coordinator, you are responsible for following up with people, even if you don't hear from them, or even if your email notification tells you to, contact them in 2 weeks. If you have a feeling about something and you want to know what's going on, go out of your way to find out, because had I not, this transaction is now closing on Friday, which is now 3 days away. And thankfully I had things in order. So there wasn't too much urgency in terms of gathering paperwork or whatnot, but it's important to know that. And the reason I found this out was because I emailed my agent and I said, hey, what's the status of this property? Just checking in, right? I hadn't heard anything from anyone. I hadn't received any new emails, which is weird. I would say that's a bonus tip. If you haven't received any emails for a transaction that you know is in contract, whether it's a listing or sale, contact the agent directly and talk to them. Because what happened in this situation is I was left off of all of the emails. I was not being CC'd, not even BCC'd. So I didn't know that court had been done. Court was moved up early. Everything was figured out and situated. All contingencies had been removed, and we are closing now in 3 days. This happened last week, and I just found out this week. So do your due diligence and follow up. Take initiative. That's what I'm saying. And agents, realtors, please don't leave your transaction coordinators off of emails, as well as escrow officers. Please, When you get the timelines, find our emails, save them, bookmark us, whatever the case may be. Label us transaction coordinator. It helps. And like I said, as a TC, go out of your way, take the initiative to follow up, give updates, provide updates, receive updates. Because if you don't, you might miss a whole closing, and then you're playing catch up to make sure everything is signed and inspections were ordered, all of it. It's a whole mess. So we are not mind readers. That's the whole point of this. We are not mind readers. And in the event that we haven't heard from you in a while, a follow-up email goes a long way. Number 5, I do not need a transaction coordinator. Okay, that's fair. If that's the life you choose, go for it. But if you want to level up in your business and have more time in your business, I think it's best that you hire a transaction coordinator. I can't speak for every city or state, but I'm based out of San Francisco, California, and out here we do things a little differently. So using a transaction coordinator to up your business, up your time, whether that's time for business, time for family, we're a good team, guys. We're a good team. So hire you a transaction coordinator. And if you want to hire me, my information is in the description below, tc@transactioncare.com. Like I said, if you want to be a top producer or at least get on that trajectory, it's important to have a transaction coordinator on your team because it's a winning combination. Number 6, it is okay to blame your transaction coordinator for everything. No. If you notice that your agent or a broker or anyone within the transaction is starting to blame you for things that you know you did not do or you didn't mess up on, but they're just not able to be accountable or take responsibility for their faults or their mistakes, bring that up with them, call them out, try to be as professionally as possible, involve their broker, but it's not always your fault. Maybe you missed a signature here and there and you have to ask for things at the last minute. Fair, right? But you own up to that. But anything else bigger than that, like if they're blaming you for contingencies not being removed or for a buyer not sending in their deposit on time, that's not your fault. Those things like that are not all of your responsibility. Do you send out a timeline to keep everyone within good standing in terms of time? Yes, you can provide that, but that's also up to them to manage that and take action when necessary. You can't hold everybody's hand and take the fault for everything that goes wrong in a transaction, within a transaction. So keep that in mind. You are not to be blamed for everything. In fact, we shouldn't be blamed for anything at all. Unless we know we messed up, then you should take responsibility for those actions. But other than that, if you start to see you getting blamed for a lot of things, red flag, super red flag. So realtors, brokers, anyone else, it's not the transaction coordinator's fault. Look within. And also don't take your anger out on transaction coordinators. If your clients make you mad, go write in a journal. Number 7, the last misconception is that we are your assistants. No. If you haven't already, go watch my video about transaction coordinators versus assistants. It's a good one. It's a really good one. I'll put it in the card, in the description right here. It's also in the description below. It's a must watch, but we are not assistants. Transaction coordinators and assistants are completely different. And like I said, did a whole episode on this, so go check it out right now. And thank you for watching. If you could relate to any of this content, please subscribe, follow, share this content with anyone that you may need it. Share it on your social media platforms. Follow me across all social media platforms. I truly appreciate your time. Your time is worth it. So let's coordinate and go watch this video. And go watch these videos.